What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is your buddy Dr. J. Phoenix Singh coming at you to be able to answer a short but valued viewer's question for today. Now, you guys know that I love you. Please do me a huge favor and help the channel out a ton by hitting that like button before we go ahead and get started today. And remember to share this video as well as all other videos on this channel with your friends, colleagues, and students. If you haven't subscribed yet, but you've watched at least one other video on the channel, please do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Again, helps the channel out a ton. So let's go ahead and get started here. Today's question was posed by Barbara, and Barbara's question was very straightforward. It was actually in a live stream that we did just the other day. And her question was, when should you start looking for graduate schools? Now, presumably what Barbara means is, when should you start looking while you're still in undergraduate studies? Keep in mind, though, that obviously there are a number of people, right, not a small percentage, who end up doing undergrad and then they leave. Maybe they're in the workforce for a while, or they do a post-baccalaureate, or maybe they even do a master's degree before looking for a doctoral degree program. All of these things are possibilities. But let's go ahead and make the assumption that you're still an undergraduate and you're kind of wondering, okay, if I'm in kind of a traditional 4-year undergraduate program, when should I start trying to figure out which graduate school is right for me? So let me just tell you this, the honest answer to this question is as soon as possible. Obviously, through the years of undergraduate, it is something where the likelihood is high that you're going to discover new or different things that you are passionate about, and that will either change or will narrow the options that you have in terms of where you actually want to apply. But the sooner you can get a good grip on the type of graduate school you would like to go to, and most importantly, especially if you're dealing with a research-based doctorate, who it is specifically that you want to work with as a graduate school supervisor, the better. For me, I can tell you that I knew the types of grad schools that I wanted to go to. Like, I knew the degree program I wanted to do, which was, for me, I wanted to be a child psychologist, a clinical child psychologist, and I wanted to run a private practice. And at the time, I also thought what a lot of people think in clinical psych, which is, well, I want to be a clinician and I want to do a little bit of research. Other people say I want to be a researcher, but I want to also see some clients on the side. As we talk about in other videos on this channel, that can be really, really difficult. But I knew that if I wanted to at least somehow do both, then my best bet was doing a clinical psychology PhD. And so I remember this fateful day when I went in to be able to have a conversation with my undergraduate supervisor. And this meeting literally was the first semester of my freshman year. And his name was Professor Lerner up in Boston. And Professor Lerner told me, he's like, all right, son, listen, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to be able to get in, but first you need to tell me what kind of a program do you want to apply for? And what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a psychologist. And he's like, okay, more. I said, I want to be a child psychologist. He said, more. I said, I want to be a clinical child psychologist. And he said, more. And then after that, I honestly didn't know what to say. The fact of the matter is that a lot of applicants for clinical psych programs in particular, and doctoral programs more generally, don't put enough time into really drilling down into getting a really strong, high specificity sense of the kind of work that they want to do in graduate school. And if you guys attend my live streams or you've worked one-on-one with me, which, if you're interested in getting into grad school, I do highly recommend setting up a one-on-one consultation appointment with me. You can do that. You can book that online via the website below, so we can really figure out what's going to be best for you, and I can walk you through in great detail, tailored for you, a plan to get into grad school. I actually have a lot of success with that, so if that's something you're interested in, I'm your guy. So again, that's the website below. But the idea here was that the idea here is that you really need to be able to drill into the specificity. If you watch videos and such, or if you work with me, you're going to know that when I say high specificity, what I'm talking about is picking a population, picking some sort of a phenomenon. Could be a clinical phenomenon like schizophrenia, or some sort of a practical phenomenon like implicit bias, these sorts of things. Or let's say that you're a marine biologist and you're interested interested in working with sea turtles and there's a particular digestive issue that they have, right? That could be it, for that particular field. And then in addition to that, you need a methodology. And a methodology could mean a statistical methodology, something like meta-analysis, propensity scoring, so on and so forth. Or it could mean some apparatus, like, for example, functional magnetic resonance, however many 3 Tesla machine, whatever you're dealing with, right? But that's the idea here, is that you need to drill down into these 3 different areas. And then you need to see who's doing work at essentially the coalescence of all 3 of those different pieces. Because that should mean that you are drilling down to an extent where there should be probably 10 to 15 max scholars in the country where you actually want to go to graduate school who are specializing in that area. If there's more, if there's 20 or 30, that doesn't mean you should apply to 20 or 30 schools. That means that you need to increase the specificity that you're using to be able to search for grad schools and also grad school supervisors. And again, if this is something you're interested in talking about specifically for you, we can actually pick the grad schools for you together. Again, just contact me and book a session via the website below. But you need to find this out as soon as possible. Why? A number of reasons, but remember, here on this channel we talk about the 5 lies. 5 lies are, at or above the median GPA for the program, at or above the median test scores for the program, 3 letters of recommendation, clinical experience, or in-field experience, depending on, the field that you're in, and research experience. Why are those 5 lies? Because you have to have all 5 of them to get into grad school. However, it unfortunately is the case that having all 5 does not mean that you'll get into grad school. Everybody usually thinks that I have those 5 things, that means I'm a shoo-in. The problem is that everybody kind of knows about or can anticipate those 5, and because of that, having all 5 makes you totally and utterly average. Which really stinks, but it is true. So at the end of the day, the things that you can really help yourself with in terms of getting into grad school when you select who are these supervisors and what are these programs you want to get into early, essentially is number 1, you can really focus on building personal connections. And this is closely matched with number 2, which is attending conferences and hopefully getting some paper presentations or poster presentations or even organizing some symposia at conferences that those target supervisors, or at least the heads of those target programs that you're interested in going to, that they attend. And of course, you'd want to take a look at the CVs of those individuals who you were interested in being your target supervisors. Take a look, where do they usually attend and present, and then really focus on attending those exact same conferences, because you might meet them there. Or if nothing else, if they take a look at your CV and they see that you presented there, they're going to be impressed, okay? And the third one is getting publications. Obviously, getting publications as an undergraduate is exceptionally difficult. If you want to learn how to write publications, make sure to check out Publication Academy, website for which is www.publicationacademy.com. It is the premier online training resource to be able to teach you step-by-step in a template-based fashion how to be able to publish peer-reviewed journal articles, edited book chapters, how to be able to win grants, to be able to fund your research, and loads more stuff, over 150 hours of training, over half of which is specifically done by me. So I recommend going and checking that website out as well. But getting published as an undergraduate is exceptionally difficult. But the earlier you get started and you know where you want to end up, the earlier you can get started being strategic and intentional about trying to get publications in the same general area as your target supervisors, okay? So again, at the end of the day, Barbara's question was, when should you start looking for grad schools? The answer is as soon as possible. It is not a good idea to be, 6 to 12 months before you're supposed to apply to a program and all of a sudden you're saying, okay, now I think I'm ready to be able to take a look at that stuff. If that is you, like no joke, you need to book a session. You are insanely behind, right? And nobody else may tell you, I'm telling you, you're super behind. You need to kick it up a notch, especially because I'm releasing this video here in June of 2021, okay? It's June, the year is halfway done. Application cycle is going to open in about 3 months. You got 3 months as of this video, and I'll release this video today when I'm done with it. You got 3 months to be able to get ahead of the curve, because then you know what's going to happen in terms of building personal connections. Everybody and their mother is going to be sending grad school supervisors emails saying, I love your work, you're the person I want to be my supervisor, are you taking on students? It does not count as a personal connection. Okay, we got to get on that personal connection stuff fast, because that is the secret sauce, in addition to publications, to be able to actually get into these programs, especially something like clinical psych. Last year, 2020, insane year, as we all know, because the pandemic. Acceptance rates were between 0.5 to 2% for most leading programs. Up to 4% is what you usually see. So it's still harder than getting into medical school, at least here in the United States. But it's one of these things where, regardless, you got to get on this, guys, okay? And I can help you do that. So again, book a session via the website down below. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have a great day. Peace.